Why smart people fall for media narratives. I'm sure we all have them. I know I do. Friends, relatives who always believe what the mainstream fake news media tells them. Why is that? Why do intelligent, successful, well-educated people still fall for media narratives that later turn out to be misleading or flat out wrong? This isn't about intelligence. In fact, being smart can actually make you more vulnerable. And once you understand why, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Let's look at some of the reasons people fall for media narratives. Reason number one, it's not about being dumb or stupid. One of the biggest misconceptions is that people who fall for misleading narratives just don't think critically. But that's not true. Smart people are better at processing information, but they're also better at defending what they already believe. Psychologists call this motivated reasoning. Instead of asking, is this true? Ask yourself, does this fit what I already think? And the smarter you are, the better you are at building a case. Reason number two, the illusion of being informed. Today, information is everywhere. News apps, social media, clips, headlines, TV, radio. But being surrounded by information isn't the same as being informed. Most people don't consume full stories. They consume headlines, clips, and reactions. So what happens? You don't get the full picture. You get a framed version of reality. Reason number three, how narratives are built. Media narratives aren't always about lying. They're about what gets emphasized, what gets ignored, and how things are framed. Two people can look at the same event and walk away with completely different conclusions, depending on what they were shown or what they heard. Think about how different outlets covered events like January 6th or the coverage surrounding George Floyd. Same core events, very different narratives. That's not accidental, that's framing. Reason number four, confirmation bias feels good. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We like information that confirms what we already believe. It feels good, it feels validating. And media companies, they know this. So instead of challenging you, they often give you more of what you already agree with. Over time, that creates an echo chamber. And inside that echo chamber, everything sounds like the truth. Reason number five, smart people overtrust their judgment. This is where intelligence can actually work against you. Smart people tend to trust their ability to analyze, interpret, and draw their own conclusions. But if your input is biased, your conclusions will be biased also. Garbage in, garbage out. Just with more confidence. Now let's take a look at some of the mainstream media narratives that have been proven wrong in the last decade. The first one, the Covington Catholic incident. This was the case with Nicholas Sandmann, who showed up at the March for Life rally at the Lincoln Memorial, wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Video clips by the mainstream media try to make it seem that he and other students were taunting Nathan Phillips, who was part of the Indigenous Peoples March, when in reality, Phillips approached Sandmann while drumming and chanting, and all Sandmann did was smile and stand his ground. Number two, very fine people on both sides. This comment was made by President Trump in 2017, and a common narrative by the mainstream fake news media was that President Trump was calling white supremacists very fine people. Yet the full transcript showed that he actually condemned white supremacists in the same remarks. Number three, the Hunter Biden laptop story. Initial coverage stated that the story was just another example of Russian disinformation. But later on, outlets such as the New York Times and the Washington Post showed that many of the contents of the laptop were actually authentic. Number four, the Jussie Smollett incident in 2019. This was after Jussie Smollett claimed to police in Chicago that he was the victim of a homophobic hate crime. According to his police report, two masked men attacked him on the streets of Chicago at approximately 2 a.m., punching him and wrapping a rope around his neck and shouting, "This is MAGA country." Yeah, right, in liberal Chicago, Illinois. When in reality, what happens is that Smollett actually paid two brothers $3,500 to stage the attack. Number five, the Border Patrol whipping narrative in 2021. Images circulated throughout the mainstream media that Border Patrol agents were actually whipping migrants at the border. But further investigations showed that the Border Patrol agents were using reins to control horses, not whips. and no whips were ever actually used. And number 6, this is one I always love to talk about. Mostly peaceful protests. This happened during the summer of 2020 when all the rioting was going on in American cities over the death of George Floyd. CNN said this night after night after night, when in reality these peaceful protests caused nearly $2 billion in property damage throughout the United States. These are examples of media stories that were easily misleading. They very fine people on both sides, widely reported, but missing key content. The Hunter Biden laptop story, largely dismissed in some media circles, but later verified by other media outlets. Again, these are all not black and white or true and false situations. They're all examples of narratives being formed before the full picture is known. So how do you avoid falling for the media narratives? Here's a few simple tips. Number 1, question how something is being presented, not just what's being said. Number 2, look at multiple sources, especially the ones you disagree with. Number 3, be willing to say, I might not have the full picture yet. Number 4, separate facts from framing, because the facts may be real, but the way they're presented can completely change the entire story. And at the end of the day, the goal isn't to distrust everything. The goal is to make you think more clearly than the crowd. Because in today's world, the people who control the narrative don't just shape opinions, they shape reality. And the more you understand how that works, the harder it is for them to fool you. Well, if you want more breakdowns like this, where we cut through the noise and actually look at the full picture, make sure you follow the truth behind the headlines today. Because the truth is out there. You just have to be willing to look past the narratives to find it. And please, feel free to check out my friend Kent Kahalski's website at ohiopoliticalnews.com. Once again, that's ohiopoliticalnews.com. Thanks for tuning in.